Hello and welcome. Today what I want to do is demonstrate to the viewers on my channel and to anyone else who's out there who's wondering, how does an older, smaller woman actually get a canoe on her car? As I've got older, I've learned to employ whatever tools and strategies, methods that I can do to actually get a number of jobs accomplished. Because as we all know who are getting a little older, our muscle mass does diminish as we age, our strength goes down. Sometimes we need to have more brains at work than brawn. So I'm going to show you how I manage to do this little job. And the goal is to, number one, not get hurt. Number two is get the canoe safely strapped to my car so I can transport it. So that's what we're going to do today. When we moved away from kayaking and sold our kayaks, and I wanted to buy a solo canoe, there were a few things that went into the decision making around that, and that's the first thing. The first thing is we have a smaller car, which is an advantage to me. Number two, we have a very good roof rack that we purchased 15 years ago at least for our kayaks, which has the Yakima and it has an extension on the back, so there's a place to rest the boat. And the third was, what kind of canoe am I going to get? Because I'm not a very big person, I chose to invest a little more money and buy an ultralight. So I bought this ultralight canoe from Western Canoe and Kayak in Abbotsford, BC. It's a standard clipper, but it's called a packer. And it's great for solo traveling, and it fit what I wanted to be able to do in a canoe, which was mainly be out on lakes, go fishing, go camping, the kind of things you see me do on my channel. And this canoe weighs in at 32 pounds. The fact that my canoe is quite light for a canoe and my car is relatively small and I have a good rack to put it on. Those three things that make it possible for me to actually load and unload this canoe without injuring myself. So far, and long may that continue. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the straps. I'll show you how I can lift it, give you an idea of the weight. Then I'll reload the canoe, trying to show you as best I can without having someone here to film how I do that. It might be a bit tricky, but I think you'll get the general idea. All right, let's hope for the best. One of the tools that I use and carry with me is this little step stool. It has really nice sturdy feet. It's lightweight, being plastic, and it's not tippy at all because very often I'm on uneven ground. I use this even at home to get the straps and the ropes onto my canoe and fasten to the car. Okay, you can see that slid off really well and I could have good control. So now we'll look at the canoe. The canoe has these bars, which I find, which are really helpful. I can hang on to them and I feel like I have good control. I'm also able to lift this canoe and I can carry it, I could carry it a ways, I guess, but generally speaking, because I'm at a boat launch or someplace close to water or at home into the garage, it's easy enough for me to move it about. I don't really plan to do a lot of portaging, and that was another factor in purchasing this canoe. I can purchase a separate yoke so that it can be done, but I don't really see myself doing that. It's not It's just not something I'm probably going to do. But on the occasion that I've had to move the canoe further than I felt comfortable carrying without hurting myself, I have some kayak wheels which we had for our kayaks, and I can bungee the canoe easily onto it and move it great distances. It's no problem at all. So you know, it's a use of ingenuity and tools that allow me to keep doing this and to keep doing it safely. This carrier we add to the existing roof racks is made by Yakima, and it has a sliding section at the back, which we bought because we had a very heavy 90-pound tandem sea kayak. And so we bought it then because even with the two of us, we were kind of at risk at putting it on. It was a different car than this. But this roof rack is adapted to the small car, and it works just fine. It has, as you can see, this bar which extends out to the end of the car. And it's on a slide. So when I don't want it out, I can slide it back in as far as here. But when I want to load and unload, I slide it out to here. There's a simple locking mechanism on the side to keep it from sliding while you're driving. So that's what I aim to get my canoe up on. I know people who don't have a system like this will sometimes use like a non-stick, which you can easily put onto the back of your car. Now I'm just going to show you how I lift it. That I place the bow of the canoe past the end of my car where I can get a good handhold where I'm going to walk towards the car. I also line up the stern as much as I can with the center of the car so that I can, when I turn it over, I pivot it so that it's in line with the center of the roof rack. Okay, so I'm going to lift. Like that. All went well. The canoe is sitting, as you can see, on this extension, but it would fit on the bar up here if I didn't have it, with the cushion on here. So that having a roof rack with some kind of a steady bar on it is a great asset. This part is actually a roller, which was really important when we had our heavy kayak. Not so important now that I have a very light canoe. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I've got it in alignment. Then I'll lift the stern and push it forward. Because the canoe's only 32 pounds and I'm never carrying the whole weight unless I pick it up off the ground, a lot of the weight is counterbalanced onto the car. So I'm not actually even ever having to lift 32 pounds. So once it's on the rack, I can move it around quite easily. So I always center it. I always use the 5-point tie down. Even if I'm going a short distance, I never take any chances. I just don't want to deal with that. So I'm now going to tie it on, and that's all there is to it. It works very well. So far I've done it numerous times, and touch wood, I've had no incidents, and neither have I hurt myself. So I hope that helps you understand now and feel that maybe there's some hints there if you are wanting to figure out how to load a canoe by yourself. There's a lot of factors that I think I've clearly stated that allow me to do this without injury. And I hope that if you're wondering if really I maybe didn't have a hidden little person in the bush, I don't. But I'll tell you what, if Bob's home and he says, "Can I help you load your canoe?" 9 times out of 10, I'll say absolutely. If I'm at a launch site and somebody comes over and says, "Oh, could I help you get your canoe on?" I will say absolutely. I don't have anything to prove. I know I can do it. I do it probably 85% of the time. But I always am happy to receive help if it's being offered. So there you go. And that's how I load my canoe. So good luck with that, and I hope that it's helped somebody. Bye for now.